Hey guys, Katie Maycock here, and this video is all about getting a good night's sleep. So we're going to look at why sleep is important, how much sleep do we need to have, and 5 things that you can do every single day that's going to help you have a good night's sleep. Okay, so first things first, let's have a bit of a look at why sleep is really important. So sleep is really important for our physical and mental health. So if we look at what we're doing when we sleep, we have to look at the 4 different stages. So we have 4 different stages to our sleep cycle, and the final stage, which is the REM sleep, so the rapid eye movement sleep, which is also called the dream state of sleep. It's really important for us to get into that stage of sleep to make sure that we are decompressing from the day, so we can actually take in all that information, process it, and either store it as a memory or let it go if we don't need it. So getting in enough deep REM sleep is really, really important to make sure that we can actually process the information that we've taken in throughout the day. It's also really important to actually help prepare our bodies as well. So we need enough sleep to make sure that we are repairing ourselves so we can actually live a healthy life. So here's the next thing that we need to look at. How much sleep do we actually need? Now, there has been a lot of debate recently about how much sleep we do need. Now, the latest research is showing that we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now, the reason why we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep, it goes back to understanding that deep sleep, that REM sleep that we just spoke about. If you are getting between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you're getting enough of that cycle of sleep to make sure that you're getting enough of that deep REM sleep to make sure you're processing all the information throughout the day and making sure your body's repairing itself as well. So the latest research is saying making sure that you are not getting less than 7 and making sure that you're getting up to 9 hours is really important as well. Everyone's going to sit differently on that scale, so find what works for you as well. Now, what's a really interesting fact is, this is just a really interesting fact I'm just going to chuck in here. So there's a lot of research saying that if you get less than 7 hours of sleep a night frequently, it's like being drunk. So making sure you are getting minimum 7 hours, very important. Okay, so we know why it's important. We know how much sleep we need to have. That's great. So what are some of the things that we can do every single day that's going to actually help us get a good night's sleep? Okay, so the first thing to do is to make sure that your bedroom is dark. So I know that sounds pretty simple, but a lot of people actually have a lot of light coming in, so unnatural light coming into the bedroom. So here's the thing, we need to have a dark room to make sure that we're releasing melatonin, which is actually something that helps us sleep as well, and that gets released when it's dark. So making sure that our room is dark enough to actually help release that melatonin. We don't have a lot of unnatural light coming in, so making sure that your bedroom is really dark. The second thing is making sure that our bedroom is cool enough. Now, we can probably all attest to a time when it's been summer, it's been really hot, it's difficult to get to sleep, but our body does need our bedroom to be a little bit cooler to help us get into that deep sleep as well. So making sure that you've got some fresh air coming in if you need to, just making sure it is a bit cooler than normal. So that's really important. Now, the third thing that's really, really important as well is to make sure that you're minimizing how much use of lights that you've got on. So we're talking televisions, we're talking your phone. I mean, let's just pause here for a second. How many of you actually fall asleep looking at your phone, or wake up and check your phone straight away? Or, you wake up in the middle of the night, you just check your phone. Doing that can actually really interrupt your sleep because it's got the blue light that actually prevents melatonin from actually being released. So making sure that you aren't using your technology, you're not watching a lot of TV before you go to bed. So we can probably say between minimum half an hour before you go to bed, preferably an hour before you go to bed, you've turned off all of those screens. So the television, the computer screen, the phone. If you've got a TV in your bedroom, remove it, but making sure you're not getting that blue light onto your face, because it's going to prevent that melatonin from actually being released, which will, like we said, really important to help us get into that deep sleep as well. So the fourth thing that you need to be doing as well is to make sure that you're not over consuming alcohol or caffeine. Now, please please, all you people out there, do not come for me, but because it is really important. So let's talk about alcohol. Let's break this down into the two. So alcohol. Now, think about it. How many of you have actually used alcohol? Maybe you've had a really busy day at work, you've been a little bit stressed out, and you've had a bit of a glass of wine or a beer or whatever your alcohol of choice is to help you relax. I'm going to say a lot of us. So here's the thing with alcohol. What it actually does is it actually prevents us getting into that deep REM sleep. So a lot of people will actually say, hang on a second, when I drink alcohol, it just knocks me out. I get to sleep. Yes, but you're not actually getting into that deep REM sleep, which is super important, especially for that processing information and making sure that we're restoring our body as well. So alcohol can be one of the worst things to actually have to actually to get us to prevent us getting into that deep REM sleep. So making sure you're not having too much alcohol of an evening, and if you can have alcohol-free nights, high five, you absolutely need that. Now let's look at caffeine. So I've spoken to a lot of people and they will say, you know what, I can have a really strong coffee before I go to bed. It doesn't impact my sleep. I can fall asleep and I'm completely fine. Here's the thing though, when we've had too much caffeine, it actually again prevents us from getting into that deep REM sleep. So we actually don't get into that really restorative sleep that we actually need as well. So caffeine can really impact that. So I'm not saying you can never have coffee in the morning or whatever it is, but understanding that caffeine actually has a long half-life, which means that if we drink it at 10 a.m., it can still be in our system in the evening as well. So making sure that we're not drinking caffeine after 10 a.m. in the morning, depending on what time we go to bed, but making sure we're not having caffeine at least 8 to 10 hours before we go to sleep is so important. Now, I know a lot of you who if you are waking up feeling really, really tired and you've had a good night's sleep, caffeine can be a bit of a culprit there as well as alcohol. So limiting the amount of caffeine and alcohol you're having is hugely important, hugely important. Now, the fifth thing that is super important to do, and I think a lot of us have been guilty about this, is to make sure we have a routine when we go to sleep. So what I mean by that is making sure that we go to bed at the same time every single night and wake up at the same time every single morning. What this actually does is it actually helps to get our body into the circadian rhythm, which is our natural 24-hour rhythm that we actually need to make sure that we know what time to wake up and go to sleep as well. This routine is hugely important. So a lot of us, I'm pretty sure we can all say that, you know what, during the week I can have a bit of a routine, goes out the window in the weekend. So making sure that you do have a routine 7 days a week. Really important. Now, a final little tip. I know I said 5. I'm just going to give you an extra one because I feel like it. When you wake up in the morning, making sure that you go and sit in front of a window, making sure you get some sunlight on you. That's actually going to help release serotonin. Now, serotonin is the hormone that's actually going to say, hey, time to wake up. Let's get moving for the day as well. So that's what you can also do there. All right, guys, that's this video on sleep. I hope it's helped. If you want some more information, you can always read the book by Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep, which is a really fantastic book if you want to read that as well. All right, guys, until next time, stay safe and healthy and get a good night's sleep.